In business, everyone's looking for the next productivity hack, the thing that they can do to produce higher and better results. And I just think it's interesting that what we often don't look to, and what I wished I had known when I started my business, was that I needed to look at me, my physical body, as a way to produce more in my business. And sometimes we separate these things out as if they're not married together and they're not the same thing. I'm Chaz Wilson, founder of Master Networks, Blue 42 Agency, and Wilson Leadership Coaching. So let me share with you a couple of the things that I do to try to help with my health, my physical health, mental, emotional, etc., to help me be more productive in my business. And there's a couple of things that I've learned over time that work for me. The first thing I want to talk about is physical fitness. And these are all common things that we hear, we know, but then how do you make it work for you? And just recently, I felt like I was plateaued. I felt like I hit a ceiling. I was working out already, but I felt like I wasn't seeing results that was helping me with my energy and the things that I needed to be more productive in my business. So a couple things. I reached out to a gentleman that I saw who posted a picture on his 54th birthday, was in phenomenal shape. And so I reached out to him. This is a great thing in business and in life. Always find a mentor, a coach, someone who is where you want to be or has been there that can give you that real world applicable advice, things that you can do. So I got on a Zoom call with him, lives across the world. And I said, hey, I want to know not what fad diet you're on, I want to know exactly, like, when do you wake up? What do you eat? When do you exercise? How many days? What routine? Everything. What's interesting, it was a couple small tweaks for me. And that first one was the physical fitness. I needed to, and still need to, I needed to lose some weight. And I'm not quite to my target yet, but I've lost some weight. And part of it was what I had been told early on was to do a lot of cardio. And I was doing a fair amount of cardio, but I shifted and I went to more resistance training a couple days a week. And then I go to some high intensity training resistance classes 2 to 3 days a week. About 5 days, 1 week of resistance, high intensity with 2 weight days. And then I flop the next week, 2 weight days, 3, vice versa. So that's the physical plan that I do. And it's a lot of weights, and it doesn't have to be a lot of heavy weight. But weights and resistance training burns calories different than how you're doing with cardio. So that was a big thing for me. Now, because of that and because I'm lifting more weights, second was nutrition. Nutrition needed to be dialed in a little differently for the way that I'm doing it. Again, this is just me. This is just the way that I do it. It brings me more energy to run all the businesses that we do, serve my family with 5 children. I'm doing leadership stuff at my church, multiple businesses, my 5 kids. I coach football. I do all this stuff. How do I have the mental and physical energy to do that? And it all starts with physical fitness and then the second, nutrition. Let me share with you just a couple of things that I did to shift. One of those was I started tracking my macros. So for me, I do like a 200, 100, 50. So 200 grams of protein, 100 grams of fat, and 50 grams of carbs. First couple of days, it was hard. It was hard to limit that many carbs for me. But what I noticed is I started to feel better. I started to feel lighter. I wasn't as tired. And how that also came to be is then how that helped me in recovery from all the weights that I was lifting, right? Because the carbs caused inflammation. And so I wanted to have that energy and have faster recovery time when I'm lifting weights. The third thing is sleep. And this is one I've not mastered yet. I'm still working on it because of different scheduling and travel and football and with all the things that I'm doing right now. Sleep is one of the things that's a challenge for me. It's hard for me to shut my mind off. I can fall asleep. I don't always stay asleep. And then I'm up late and get up early. One of those things is I'm trying to dial in. I do track sleep and I'm trying to get, typically been 5.5 to 6 hours. I'm trying to get to 7.5 hours of consistent sleep for, again, the rest, the energy, and the recovery of my physical body. Physical fitness, nutrition, sleep. And then the last one I'll talk about here, which is super important. And it's something I haven't really been doing until recent. And especially as a business owner, this will help with the mental, emotional, and the physical piece. Well, once a month, I go get IV therapy, which is I get an IV nutrition that I get pumped into my body that gives me that recovery, gives me energy with vitamins that helps keep me healthy. And I've noticed that I rarely get sick because I'm doing these things. And number 2, I also do leg and arm compression therapy, which are these compression sleeves that they put on. One goes from my feet all the way up to my hips. It's about 30 minutes and it
squeezes them really tight.
I was like, man, this is tight. This is really tight around my legs. And it helps with circulation and blood flow, which helps me in recovery as well. And then another one that I do is I recently started doing cryotherapy. I have to tell you my experience with this. I'd heard about it. I have a lot of past injuries and inflammation. I have elbow and knees and back from football. A lot of people were telling me, you got to try cryotherapy. You got to try it. So I go to this place where I get a lot of this, compression therapy and IV therapy done. And I go in to try cryotherapy. They're like, all right, here's this booth. And now you have to imagine, it's like this space age thing looking. It's like a cylinder big unit that you get in. The door opens. And prior to the door opening, he says, okay, this is 3 minutes. You're going to be in here. What song do you want to pick? And I'm thinking, I don't know what song I want to pick, but now that I've been through it once, I need to pick a song that I can focus on and the lyrics and that is exciting. And I get in and the door shuts and I can see a little gauge that has the timer and the temperature, which is probably not smart to have the temperature on there, but it started at negative 172 degrees and it's cold. It takes about 20 seconds and my teeth are chattering. And the first time I was in there, it was super cold and I was like, I might tap out. Like about 40 seconds in, I'm like, this is pretty cold. But I've done it now a few times and I can tell you like immediately it just wakes you up, your energy's good. And honestly, the inflammation goes down and my recovery time goes way up. I really love that aspect. And when I put all those things together, it helps my physical body recover. My nutrition gets dialed in, sleep, and so on and so forth. When all of these things come together, how it shows up is I am more productive in the hours that I spend in all of the other things that I do. And when I'm feeling well and I'm feeling strong and I'm feeling energized, I can give 100% devoted effort and focus and attention to the things that I need to do. When you're looking at a productivity hack for your business, what I would encourage you to do is look to how are you showing up physically, mentally, and emotionally? Are you taking care of your body with the nutrition, the sleep, the physical activity, and the rest recovery items that I laid out before you? When you're doing that, I promise you that your business productivity will go up. Instead of looking at all the what are the tools and tricks and things that I can use and what software can I use, you're the business. You're the greatest asset of your business. And the minute that you realize that and you put attention and dollars and resources behind that, everything changes for productivity for you and your business.